Hello and welcome to the Helios blog. My name is Helios. Today, the bitter truths of the red pill. Here comes another tough article. This one might hurt to listen for some of you, but the red pill is a bitter one, unfortunately. Some of you need to hear this as you'll live lives of quiet desperation without this information. Listen and learn. This is but a small fraction of the information a real man needs to know to have a successful life. Fail to acknowledge this information at your peril. Here are some truths of the world. Enjoying my content? Check out my blog at heliosblog.com. On YouTube, you can support me by liking and subscribing. I'm also on Spotify if you'd prefer a podcast. If you're interested in my books, The Strategist Guide to Seduction and Quotes to Live By, they're available on Amazon. In addition, you can follow me on Patreon at the Helios blog for exclusive content. On with the show. No one is coming to save us. No one gives a shit about men. We were raised from a young age to be disposable pawns in the game of life. Our ability to work and our ability to produce was meant to be harnessed from birth, much in the way that humanity harnesses livestock. Our work ability was not meant to be harnessed for our benefit, no. Such was our fate from birth, to be pawns in a grand game we didn't even know we were playing. Our work ability was to be harnessed for the benefit of society. And nowadays our society is a corporatist oligarchy. If we fail to break free, we'll be churned in the meat grinder of history, as most have before us. We will die as we lived, mindless and abused by the system. No one is coming to save us. The only thing we have is our wits and our wisdom. Our knowledge can guide us to freedom, but only that. Ignorance is folly in the modern world, as it has always been. Next, our mom, parents, family and teachers have lied to us. Today, information seems to exist purely for the obfuscation of the truth of the world. Our parents, family and teachers lied to us. They told us that the world is fair and just and that people get what they deserve. Most people get nothing. Most people are farmed as cattle and discarded when their usefulness exceeds their value. We were told that we were free when we were really chained from birth. We were born into a mental prison. Though there does exist a way to escape, but the key is hidden on purpose. We were told that women were wonderful angels. Women are human, like the rest of us. All lies serving one common purpose: slavery and control. Society actively teaches men how to be good slaves who supplicate to women. Society teaches men to worship women. The current cultural trends all point to this. When men worship women, they give them everything, much as a corporate drone gives his life to a company. In the same manner, when the drone has outlived his value, he is discarded, a useless husk. Such is the treatment of the average man nowadays by women. The average beta male is a drone in the corporation that is the feminine ideal. When the drone outlives his usefulness, he is discarded and replaced by another. Round and round this carousel goes, men abused at every step. No one is coming to save them. We have been brainwashed NPCs. Most men have spent their formative years as brainwashed NPCs. We had no idea what the real world was like and simply regurgitated what society told us was correct. Worship women, be a corporate slave. Sacrifice your life for others and be rewarded. These rewards never came. Instead, we were rewarded with pain for our obedience. We deserve better. We deserve the truth of the world, unvarnished by societal programming which aims to control and manipulate. We are worth more than that. And that is why the red pill exists. Take it and be free. Suffer no more. Christian religion in the West has been co-opted. Christian religion no longer worships God. Controversial, I know. It worships something else entirely. While claiming to worship God, what modern Christian religion currently worships is women. Men in modern Christian religious groups are expected to live their life virtuously as cattle to feed their female masters. Men are to obey women in all things and follow their life plan, marriage and monogamy. Men are to sacrifice everything for their perfect angelic one. They are not to follow God's plan, no. They are to follow women's plan, disguised as God's plan. The tragedy of this is that religious people are being manipulated. They believe that they are worshipping God and being virtuous, when really they're dooming themselves to a life of misery and needless sacrifice, as a result of the current state of divorce in the West. God would not approve of this idolatry. Women are likely attracted to the opposite of what you've been taught. Men are taught from a young age that women respect men that sacrifice for them. Men are taught that women love and give sex to good men, men who worship women and do everything they want. Men are taught that they should wear their emotions on their sleeve and be more feminine in demeanor to be attractive to women. Men are taught that women appreciate men who take things slow sexually. Men are taught that they should be emotionally vulnerable to be attractive. Men are taught that they should buy women gifts and take them on expensive dates. Men are taught that the shape of their body is unimportant, but personality matters above all. Men are taught that they should only have one monogamous girlfriend. Men are taught that they should get married. These are all lies. All of these things will repulse women sexually. Everything you've been taught from your formative years regarding attracting women sexually have been lies. They've been told to you in order to maintain feminine cultural supremacy and power over men and relationships. If you even follow one of the precepts that you were taught in your formative years, you will greatly reduce your chances of being successful sexually. This is done on purpose, to control you. Wake up. Your looks matter. As I mentioned in the previous section, men are taught that the shape of their body doesn't matter. That is a lie. Your appearance is extremely important to get your foot in the door with women. You will have a much harder time getting laid if you don't look good. You must exercise regularly in order to be attractive and remain at least in the healthy BMI range, although nowadays even men in the healthy BMI range are considered below average to attractive women. Long-term divorce rates are around 80% now. This means that if you enter into a traditional monogamous marriage, as most men do in the West, you are 80% likely to get divorced within 10 years. Many don't believe this statistic. If you Google current marriage statistics, they say that the rate is around 50% or even slightly below, but this does not account for long marriages. It only accounts for short-term marriages. Of course, most marriages that don't split are also miserable. Just ask any man in a traditional marriage if he's happy, or take a glance at his face. Taking such a risk with your finances is utter lunacy, and I cannot understand why the NPC does it. My guess is that societal programming is so strong that it overrides any sense of self-preservation. Some people believe that you're fine if you sign a prenup. Prenups often get discarded in court. There goes your life, bucko. Let me state this in case it wasn't clear. Don't get married. Why? You shackle your sex drive and your happiness to the changing emotions of another person, who can change their mind at any time about you, tearing your life in half in the process, while suffering much less pain than you due to the structure of society. The West is in decline. The West is dying on the vine. You can see it in the street and in the stores, and especially in how youth are unable to afford a house. The next 50 years are bound for some interesting times in the West as the ship slowly sinks. The ship sinking is going to drag us all into the waves. Intelligent people should create an exit plan as soon as they can. The American empire will not be so for much longer, mark my words. Move to a place in the world that isn't on the decline, and watch your life be upended as the world changes from under your feet. We live in interesting times indeed. Women are the way they are, and not how you want them to be. Ultimately, and I hope this is obvious by now, women are not as you want them to be. Nobody is perfect, and expecting any human to live up to some perfect ideal is asinine. That is what angers me most about our societal programming. If it was just taught that women were human, as men are, then we would come to our own conclusions. Instead, we are biased from the beginning and have to unlearn a great deal before we can even begin to imagine taking control of our own destiny. Ridiculous. Most men are stuck in the NPC loop of doom simply because they will not trust outside sources over their family, who have been feeding them lies since birth, who in turn are just repeating the programming that their parents told them, and so on. You have to want to break free. Conclusion. As you can see, the red pill is a bitter one. There are several lies that you're told from a young age which are used to control you and keep you as a beta NPC. It is up to you to recognize what is happening, break free, and unburden yourself from the chains of society. I know it's hard, but ultimately it's your choice to make. Be a free deviant or a praised slave. I have already made my choice.